Welcome to Israel Now News. I'm Yochanan El-Rom.
And I'm Erin Viner.
In our top story, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has embarked on a whirlwind tour of Latin America. His first stop on the diplomatic mission was to Argentina, which is home to the largest Jewish community in the region. Upon Netanyahu's arrival, President Mauricio Macri announced that he will release thousands of classified documents which detail Argentina's role in the Holocaust, specifically its participation in the harboring of Nazis after the war. This information is of great value to the Jewish people who have worked tirelessly to trace those responsible for the atrocities of the Shoah. While in Buenos Aires, Netanyahu paid homage to the victims of two bombing attacks that targeted the Israeli and Jewish communities there. Both Argentina and Israel accuse Iran of responsibility for those two terrorist attacks.
Prime Minister Netanyahu will be making his way to New York directly after his historic 10-day visit to South America. The premier says that he's very much looking forward to speaking to his good friend, U.S. President Donald Trump, during their meeting at the United Nations on September 19th. Both leaders are slated to address the opening of the General Assembly on the same day. This will be the third round of talks between the two allies since Trump took office in January. Netanyahu was the first foreign head of state to be invited to the White House after the inauguration, and this past May, President Trump made his very own visit to Israel.
Meanwhile, there is increasing concern that Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas will once again take advantage of his upcoming address at the UN General Assembly to escalate tensions with Israel. 2 years ago, he used his speech before the world body to issue a series of threats that was followed just one day later by a wave of Arab terror that culminated in the deaths of 40 Israelis. U.S. President Donald Trump has already requested a separate meeting with the Palestinian boss on the sidelines of the summit, aimed at jump-starting the stalled peace process. But analysts believe Ramallah may be planning to undertake a series of belligerent unilateral actions against Washington's wishes. Palestinian sources report that Abbas is furious over the refusal of the White House to commit to a two-state solution. He's also said to be angered by the congressional passage of the Taylor Force Act to block economic aid to the PA in retribution for the payment of financial rewards to the families of terrorists.
Satellite images show that at least 5 major buildings were damaged in an airstrike in the Hama province of Syria, which Damascus has attributed to Israel. U.S. analysts believe that the targeted military site was used to produce and stockpile chemical weapons and advanced precision missiles. An Israeli army spokeswoman declined to comment on the strike, although in the past, government officials have admitted to taking necessary action to stop Iranian arms shipments from reaching Hezbollah terrorists for use against the Jewish state. Israeli Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman has reiterated that Jerusalem will do everything in its power to prevent the forging of a Shiite corridor between Tehran and Damascus.
In the aftermath of this summer's riots on the Temple Mount, a new hate-filled music video is sweeping Palestinian social media. It's not unusual for Arab terrorist organizations to release propaganda demonizing the Jewish people. However, this time they seem to have hit a new despicable low. According to the Middle East Media Research Institute, which keeps tabs on the Arab world, the music clip urges Palestinians to attack all Israelis. Actual footage from car ramming and knife attacks are mixed with animated images of Jews being stabbed. It's not clear who is behind the video, although the Hamas terror group is the #1 suspect.
Israeli President Reuven Rivlin was joined by his German counterpart Frank-Walter Steinmeier for the unveiling of a plaque in Munich that forms the centerpiece of a new memorial dedicated to the 11 Israelis slain by Palestinian terrorists at the 1972 Olympics. Rivlin told those gathered that the murdered athletes were not just the sons of Israel, but those of the Olympic family, which has abandoned its commitment to them for far too long. It took nearly half a century for the center in memory of the Jewish team to be opened at the Munich Olympic Village, where they were slaughtered. The Israeli president noted that another historic injustice has yet to be rectified, when a minute's silence will finally be observed in tribute to the Israeli dead during the game's opening ceremony. Rivlin also castigated the Palestinian Authority for continuing to praise the attack as a heroic deed to this very day. He then called on the world to condemn terrorism no matter whom it targets or where it strikes.
Israel's Zaka humanitarian organization was instrumental in arranging the dramatic rescue of the family of the Chabad Jewish emissary on the Hurricane Irma battered Caribbean island of St. Martin. The rabbi's wife and 5 children under the age of 8 were flown to safety after the Israel-based rescue and recovery organization coordinated their evacuation to Puerto Rico with the U.S. military. The rabbi himself chose to remain on the storm-ravaged island in order to help others.
The name Achiav ben Menachem has not been spoken for many thousands of years, but now it's on the lips of almost every archaeologist working on excavations at the City of David National Park near the walls of ancient Jerusalem. That's because it was found inscribed in early Hebrew script on the stamp that was used by an official in the Judean kingdom prior to the Babylonian destruction in the year 586 before the Common Era. Experts say that the once authenticated letter itself remains a mystery since it was burned in the epic fire during the destruction of Jerusalem, but that those very same flames actually preserved the clay seal throughout the ages. Dozens of similar seals unearthed at the site not only bear witness to the developed administration of the First Temple period, but also the deep historical connection between the Jewish people and their holy city.
The Jewish High Holy Days begin at sundown this Wednesday, when Jews around the world mark the start of the new year of 5778. The occasion is the beginning of the holy period known as the Days of Awe, falling on the first day of the month of Tishrei according to the Hebrew calendar. The central theme of the 2-day holiday is the recognition of God as King. Customary traditions include the sounding of the shofar or ram's horn 100 times, as well as eating of symbolic food such as apples dipped in honey to evoke a sweet new year. We here at Israel Now News wish you and all of our viewers a wonderful coming new year.
One of health, happiness, and peace. Shana Tova. That concludes the news portion of our show. Stay tuned for Ask the Source with Josh Reinstein.
Hello and welcome to Ask the Source. I'm your host Josh Reinstein, and we're here on a beautiful sunny day on our rooftop studio in Jerusalem. My guest today is A.Y. Katzoff. He's the director of the Benjamin Fund. A.Y., thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Tell our viewers a little about what is the Benjamin Fund.
All right, so the Benjamin Fund, we're part of the Benjamin Regional Council, which is a center council of Judea and Samaria, about 250,000 acres, 200,000 Jewish settlers that live in Benjamin. We do a lot of development, which is building schools, medical centers, anything to bring more tourist people to our area. And we work on developing Benjamin. We started off, the idea was to kind of let people that are outside of Israel be partner with us in Benjamin. We're kind of like the boots on the ground, work together in the settlements, building, developing, and really if it's building and also agriculture, planting trees, planting vineyards, and that's what we do, and it's very excited to wake up every day and to work in the land, in the biblical land.
Tell our viewers a little about where is Benjamin. You know, a lot of people would call that the West Bank. We call it Judea and Samaria. Tell us about the Benjamin region.
So it's actually very interesting you said the West Bank, because Israel's very special. We have the Jordan River, which is a tiny, tiny little river, and then you say, how big is the river bank? So I like to ask people in the United States, well, let's say think about a big river, let's say the Mississippi River. How big is the river bank? Maybe 100 feet, 200, let's say 500 feet. Only in Israel, we have a river bank that's 45 kilometers long and 1,500 meters high. And the reason is because it wouldn't sound so good around the world to say, you know, Judea doesn't belong to the Jews. It's kind of like saying, you know, the Sahara doesn't belong to the Saharans. It just wouldn't sound good. So people, they tried to wash the words and they call it the West Bank. So the West Bank is actually the biblical land, Judea and Samaria, where all the stories happen. King David, King Saul, King Solomon. Throughout history, the Maccabees, the Bar Kokhba fighters all happen in Judea and Samaria. And Benjamin region is right in the center of Judea and Samaria, right where Shiloh is, ancient Shiloh, when the Jews crossed the Jordan River, came with the tabernacle, and went right to Shiloh, was the capital of Israel for 369 years before Jerusalem, before the famous Jerusalem that's right behind us. 369 years at the capital.
Hey, one of your big missions is to bring tourists to Benjamin. Why would tourists want to come and see it?
Listen, it is so special. When you come to Benjamin, you feel the Bible. You open up the book and you read about the battle of King Saul and Jonathan fighting the Philistines, and you see about the mountain of Seneh and Betzis, and you see the mountains right there, and you see it happening. And you see history, but not just history, you see where history connects till today. Because when we came there about 20 years ago to the mountains of Shiloh, where I said the tabernacle and the capital was, and people wanted to plant vineyards because they said, there's no vineyards, what's going on? You read the Bible and you see it talks all about the vineyards. And you talk about the girls dancing in the vineyards where husbands would come and look for their wives in the vineyards, and you walk around and you don't see any vineyards, just olive trees. So a friend of mine, Tzviki Struk, he said, you know what? I'm going to plant vineyards here. And the professionals came and they said, no, you don't understand. It's all bedrock. It's really strong rock. Olive trees are strong roots. They could grow here. The grapes don't grow well here. And Tzviki says, but you know what? He opened up the Bible and it says Jeremiah 31. It talks about the destruction of the temple. But then it says one day the Jews will come back and they will plant vineyards where? In the mountains of Samaria. Not in the valleys, but in the mountains of Samaria. And Tzviki said, if Jeremiah said this is what's going to happen, I'm going to do it. And they said, you know what, you want to waste your money? Go plant. It's not going to work out. Today, the professionals come and they say, you don't understand. Because of the hard bedrock, the harder the roots of the trees have to work, it goes deep down into the ground and pulls out all the minerals, and we get the best grapes. Until today, right now, all the wineries from Israel, they fight over our grapes to get our grapes, and we are living the prophecy of Od Titi Kramim Baharei Shomron. The Jews will come back and plant vineyards in the mountains of Shomron. That's where we planted them, and that's why we're living history, we're living the prophecies in the biblical land today.
Hey, there was a huge propaganda campaign that the settlements were the obstacle to peace, that somehow it wasn't the Palestinian terrorists who were killing people that were the obstacle to peace, but actually people just living there. But under the Trump administration, things have started to change. They say, we don't need to have a building freeze to make peace. Do you feel change on the ground, or is there still this movement of people trying to say that you don't belong there? Jews don't belong in Judea?
So we feel a small change. The change is more like a root change. We haven't had actual change on the ground, and we're really hoping that'll happen. And you know, we feel that by you guys coming to us, stepping on the ground, giving us your support, by being partners with us, that's what will make the real change. It's very nice that Trump gives speeches and talks about it, but by you guys coming and showing that you're our partners from around the world, helping us build, helping us plant, helping us put roots in the ground, and we're growing. You know what I tell people? I say, you know, like the thing with the half cup of water. So the optimistic will say it's half full, the pessimistic will say it's half empty, the realist will come and say, oh, it's exactly half and half. Well, we're opportunists. We take that cup of water and we drink it. Let everybody else philosophize and tell that by me having my 6 children grow up in Shiloh, jumping on the trees, we're obstacle to peace. If that's what people want to believe, let them talk about that. In the meantime, we're going to take that cup and we're going to drink it, we're going to plant, and we're going to build. And by the time they figure that out, we're going to be blooming and growing.
Anyway, there are literally tens of millions of people watching the show. What message do you have for our viewing audience?
I have one message. Please become partners with us. Come to us. Visit us. Whoever can, visit us through our website. You could find your project that you want to be part of. You could pick the project. You could contact me directly through the website. If you have any questions, if there's certain projects that you want to really feel and want to really be part of, if you want us to come to your communities, let us know, and thank you very much.
Thank you, AY, for being on the show, and thank you for tuning in to Ask the Source. I'm your host, Josh Reinstein. Now back to the studio.
Up next, the return to Zion with Keren Hayesod.
Shalom and welcome to the Return to Zion with Keren Hayesod. I'm Eliezer Moody Sandberg, World Chairman of Keren Hayesod United Israel Appeal, the leading official fundraising organization for the State of Israel. Due to the rise of anti-Semitism, the Jews of France are coming to Israel like never before. You will now witness the fulfillment of biblical prophecy. God bless you from Jerusalem.
Bring my sons from afar and my daughters from the ends of the earth.
Both the departure from France and the reception at Ben Gurion Airport were colorful and festive events, full of hope for the future. The reception at Ben Gurion had the feel of a homecoming celebration, with flags and greetings, designed to convey to the Olim that they have come home and that everything possible would be done to guarantee a promising future for them and their children, and to ease their absorption. It began with the receiving Israeli ID cards already at the airport, and will continue with the help of a special program designed to streamline the bureaucratic process in the fields of employment, education, and housing.
אתם 206 עולים חדשים, אבל תחשבו כל אחד מכם סוגר מעגל של 2,000 שנה. עשרות דורות של סבים וסבתות שלכם התפללו, לחמו, חלמו, ואתם עשיתם את זה.
אתם זוכרים, לפני שבועיים היינו בפריז, נפגשנו שם. נתן שירנסקי, אני, מודי זנדברג וכולם. ומה אמרנו? אנחנו נקבל אתכם בבית. הבית משותף של כולנו, מדינת ישראל.
אני רוצה לברך אתכם בשם משפחת קרן היסוד העולמית. זה רגע מרגש עבורכם וגם עבורנו. המדינה הזאת שייכת לכולנו. לא משנה איפה אתה גר, כחלק מהעם היהודי, ישראל היא המולדת שלך. קרן היסוד מגייסת תרומות, ויחד עם הסוכנות היהודית, השותפה שלנו, ומשרד הקליטה, אנחנו עוזרים לחלום הציוני להתגשם.
The Jewish community of France is the largest in Europe, numbering 500,000 Jews.
On est des vrais sionistes, on adore Israël et que c'est pas par peur ou voilà, c'est vraiment par envie parce qu'on avait envie de vivre ici, on avait envie de vivre en Israël.
Je suis très émue et je réalise pas. J'ai du mal à réaliser parce qu'on préparait ça depuis des années.
Beaucoup de joie, une très grande émotion. J'ai énormément les larmes aux yeux. Et j'espère que tout le monde pourra réaliser ce rêve un jour.
Un projet de vie, ça fait depuis qu'on est mariés, c'était notre projet de monter en Israël.
Je trouve que c'est très impressionnant d'arriver dans un nouveau pays dans lequel on se dit on va arriver, on connaît entre guillemets personne, seul, et au final c'est impressionnant, parce qu'on n'est pas seul et c'est vraiment, c'est beau. Il n'y a que Israël pour faire ça, c'est vraiment... voilà.
Mesdames et messieurs, le Premier ministre de l'État d'Israël, M. Bibi Netanyahu.
Bonjour tout le monde, bienvenue en Israël. יש פה קהילה מפוארת של יהודים שעלו מצרפת, הם יחבקו אתכם ויקבלו אתכם, אבל כל העם יקבל אתכם. אנחנו אוהבים אתכם, אנחנו מעריכים את המעשה הציוני שעשיתם, שהוא גם מעשה אישי. הוא מעשה אישי גדול ומעשה לאומי גדול.
Come join Keren HaYesod in fulfilling biblical prophecy. Let's bless Israel together.
To donate and get information, call us at 1-800-505-1665 or visit our website at www.khisrael.org.
As Israel's ambassador to the United States several years ago, I tried to visit at least 2 American college campuses every month. And it was exceedingly rare that I would visit a college campus and not be met by anti-Israel protests. Some of these protests exceeded the limits of legitimate protest and burst into threats of violence, near violence, and the denial of my right to free expression and the denial of the audience rights to actually hear somebody speak. These groups, which represented a coalition of extreme left-wing anti-Zionist groups, we're denying the right of all college students to the most basic service of an American college, which is to provide freedom of ideas, a free exchange of ideas, the market of ideas. Denying that market, closing that market down. But closing that market down on only one issue, and that is Israel. And because it is exclusive to this issue, these efforts to deny the right of pro-Israel speakers, pro-Israel audience to hear a pro-Israel message is not just anti-Israel, it's anti-Semitic. Anti-Semitism, by definition, is the attempt to single out Jews, in this case a Jewish state, for particular demonization and vilification. And that's precisely what is going on here. We in Israel are deeply concerned by reports of rising anti-Semitism on American campuses, anti-Semitism that is almost always, but not exclusively, disguised as anti-Zionism and presented as anti-Zionism. And we understand that many American Jewish students already feel discomforted by this situation. It is imperative that American campuses, universities, other academic institutions, there are 7,000 of them in the United States, make every effort to ensure that all ideas can be discussed freely on campus and to fight, not just with words, but with deeds, all vestiges of anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism.
Lift up your eyes and look around. All your children gather and come to you. The biblical prophecy is unfolding right before our very eyes. The people of Israel are returning to the Promised Land after 2,000 years of exile. But millions of Jews are still longing to come home. Anti-Semitism threatens many of the Jews. We must rescue them before the window of opportunity slams shut. Bless Israel by supporting Keren HaYesod United Israel Appeal, the leading official fundraising organization for the State of Israel. Together, we can fulfill the prophecy of the Bible.
Let us bless Israel together.
To donate and get information, call us at 1-800-505-1665 or visit our website at www.khisrael.org.
Please stay tuned for the ICEJ report from the International Christian Embassy, Jerusalem.
విజయవాడలోని సుందరయ్య నగర్ భారీ పేలుడు కలకలం సృష్టించింది.
విజయవాడ సుందరయ్య నగర్ ఒక్కసారిగా ఉలిక్కిపడింది. ఈ తెల్లవారుజామున భారీ శబ్దంతో జరిగిన పేలుడుతో
What started as a normal morning for Pastor Danny Mika Padma Rao in a flash turned into the most terrifying day of his life. He thought this was the end of his life, but it was just the beginning of his miraculous encounter with the man from Jerusalem.
My name is Pastor Daniel. I come from India. I'm the branch director for India, ICEJ. I can tell before that I'm alive now, and it's a second life to me, which God has given to me. On 28th November 2016, I left Israel after the feast. And after I woke up at 6 o'clock, after I finished all the things, I tried to switch on my laptop, and the spark came, and my kitchen is blown by the gas. And the two-story building, it fell down, and the neighbors, the 6 houses, roofs, all had blown up. And then I was alone in the room, and totally the room was dark. I unable to see anything, and the flames coming to me. I was praying to Jesus, and Jesus help me, take me from this room. And then it took me 15 minutes to come to the street. I changed 3 hospitals. Finally, 9:30 with that burnings, I went to one of the hospital, and then they started giving treatment. So 3 days I was in the hospital, struck, unable to move my fingers and the legs. And the 4th day early morning, one man, he appeared in my vision. He told me, "Why you are crying?" And then I asked him, "Who are you?" And then he told me, "I know you from Jerusalem. So what you want now, tell me." And then I said, "If you are from Jerusalem, I want to move my fingers and legs. I want to walk right now." Doctor said it takes 6 months here. And then he said, "Come on, start right now." Then I started moving my fingers, which struck 3 days. And then the same early morning, I was walking in the room, And all the nurses and the other patients, they came to see me. Pastor is walking in the room. And that happened in the 4th day. And I lost my head, my mustache, my eyebrows, everything totally ash. After God has visited me, I built my faith myself. I was very strong in faith. And the 5th day, they peeled all the dead skin. 4 kilos of the skin came out. And the 8th day, new skin started to forming. And 15th day, my hair grew. And the doctor came and he was shocked. Danny, what's going on in your body? And then I asked the doctor, please discharge me. And then he said, no, you should stay. But 9th day, he discharged me from the hospital to home. And my church and all the local pastors, churches, their faith grown up after they see me. I'm alive because Jesus is alive. So this happened in my life. I'm here alive. I was thinking and praying, Lord, why this happened in my life? What is the reason? Is it a demon attack or what is this? God has given me, and He took me through one of the challenge to carry His testimony to the people. So right now I am ready to do anything for God, which He given to me a second life.
Pastor Danny stepped into a new life. He promptly began sharing his incredible testimony with his congregation and all throughout India and the world.
Very happy, not just to continue my life with the family and with the ministry, but after this happened in my life, I want to do something for the glory of God, for the kingdom of God on this earth. I want to carry His testimony all the way, all the days of my life. That's my vision right now.
That's all for this edition of Israel Now News. I'm Yochanan El-Rom.
And I'm Erin Viner, reporting from our studio in Jerusalem. Please join us again next week for all of your Israel updates.